10 p.m. on Thursday, March 9th, 2023. And this is the general meeting of the Intermediate District 287 School Board. I call this meeting to order. This evening, as always, we begin with the reading of our mission, and Board Vice Chair Ann Casey is going to read for us this evening.
Thank you, Chair Brecky. The mission of Intermediate District 287 is to be the premier provider of innovative specialized services to ensure that each member district can meet the unique learning needs of its students.
Thank you. And will you kick off introductions this evening?
Ann Casey, proudly representing St. Louis Park.
Kim Ross, representing Eden Prairie.
Renee Bowman, representing Robbinsdale.
Michael Birdman, representing Edina Public Schools.
Hi, Sarah Johansson, representing Wayzata Public Schools.
Good evening, I'm Michelle Kuntz, representing Orono Schools.
Good evening, I'm Heidi Marty, representing West Tonka.
Good evening. I'm representing Brooklyn Center Community Schools.
I am Shannon Andreessen, representing Hopkins Public Schools.
And I am Crystal Brackey from Richfield Public Schools. Board member Heather Douglas from Osseo Schools is not with us this evening, but also with us at the table is Superintendent Marcy Dowd. Next up, we have approval of our general meeting agenda. Just want to note for everyone that this is a pared down agenda from what we were initially sent last week, just to acknowledge that we just came out of several hour board professional development and we have more winter weather. And so wanted to really respect everybody's time and just focus on the critical items that we accomplished this evening. So with that, is there a motion to approve the meeting agenda as amended for this evening?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Shannon Andreessen and a second by Kim Ross. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye and the agenda is approved. Next on the agenda is open forum for community comments, and I do not believe we had anybody sign up to address the board this evening.
No, ma'am.
Thank you. We have a healthy list of items on our consent agenda. These are routine business items that we move as a slate unless there is an item that a board member moves for removal for individual consideration. Looking around the table, I do not see anybody interested in doing that. So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Michelle Kuntz and a second by Sarah Johansson. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye and the consent agenda is approved. We have postponed our share the success and recognitions for our next board meeting. So we are going to move right into our superintendent's report for this evening, which is approval of the district's 2023-2024 calendar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, tonight before you, you have the calendar for the next school year, the 23-24. We did do one school year, but we hope to, in our new process, do a 2-year calendar as we move forward. Almost all of the districts now have, member districts have 2-year calendars. The way that historically the calendar has been done, it has been developed. I looked at member district calendars, breaks, spring breaks. I know this may surprise you all, but you all don't share the same calendar. So when we serve and support you all, we have to be mindful about, no, our calendar won't exactly match all of you, but we are looking at all of your calendars and being mindful about big breaks, winter breaks, spring breaks, since as a member district, you provide transportation to the students to come to District 287, we also have to be mindful about transportation. So as you look at the calendar, what's different this year is we did have a calendar committee. We always had a feedback loop for the calendar, but it was developed within a department, feedback loop to the unions and administration, and then brought to the board. What was important and what I heard is that their voice in the creation of the calendar was really important. So we developed a committee and we had representation from local union 2209, our teachers and ESPs, 284. We had unaffiliated district and building administrators as part of it. And so it was our first time entering into dialogue about what could a calendar look like? What are our parameters? So we know there's parameters around school days. I told you about member districts. And then we talked about holidays. There are some defined holidays here in District 287, and then we have some floating holidays. And something that was really important for our staff was for us to consider Juneteenth. And this was prior to everything being enacted. But so what you'll see in this calendar is that we did have a floating holiday that was typically around May. We defined it and made it Juneteenth. And so it will be an identified holiday in District 287. I did not increase our holidays. It did not decrease our holidays. It's just about adjusting the floating holidays. So you'll see that as a change. We also got feedback around the Wednesday before fall break. And so some districts have that Wednesday off and some don't. It really all depends on winter break and the other breaks and how they land throughout the year. And so one thing that we were able to honor was the identifying that Wednesday before fall break. So that will be something new. It aligns with half of the districts, but not all of our districts. Otherwise, we have the same amount of days, same amount of professional development, and it was all again vetted back through the unions. And so we bring this to you as the administration brings this as a recommendation for approval.
Wonderful. Thank you. Board members, if you have any questions, please raise your hand so I can see and call on you.
But I just
Go
have
ahead.
respect because this is hard enough in our districts when we're only dealing with one and you all are doing all of this work with 11 other calendars in the mix. So thank you. Thank you to everyone who served on the calendar committee.
You're here.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I appreciate that this is a great example of listening to staff feedback and responding to it and saying, okay, we're going to create a committee and we're going to make it a process in which voices are heard and get to be part of crafting this together. So it seems like a great example. So looking around to see if there's any other questions or comments. I don't see any, so we could entertain a motion to present the proposed calendar for the 2023-2024 school year.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Michael Birdman and a second by Ruthie Dallas. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye and the calendar is approved. Congratulations to our calendar committee for their work. No instructional report this evening, so we move to the Business Services and Labor Relations report, which contains one item. It is a human resources report and a resolution directing administration to make recommendations for reducing programs and positions as necessary, which is going to be presented by Ann Becker, our Executive Director of Human Resources and Legal Services.
Good evening, members, Madam Chair and Superintendent. We bring this resolution every year. It's of course something that we would do regardless of whether we were being directed to do it, because we're always looking to create efficiencies where we can. The good news this year is that by this time of year for the last many years, we have known of certain programs or services that we're going to decrease for a variety of reasons. And so fewer students were going to be enrolled in them, and we were aware of specific cutbacks that we needed to make in positions or budgets. This year, we don't have any indication of that. We have, of course, our regular fluctuations, but no member district has said we're taking back such and such a program or service. So that's why this time around, I had the pleasure of adding the as necessary part of the resolution.
Okay, are there any questions or comments from more board members about what this resolution is asking for and what it will allow district staff to do as necessary? Shannon, go ahead.
I just had a quick clarifying question. In Hopkins District, we get a list as part of our consent calendar each year of or each meeting of staff that are either joining the district, leaving the district, and just wondering that does this resolution replace that notification of the board, or is that something we still get as the Board of Intermediate District 287?
Yes, you get it every month, usually at the second board meeting of the month. And it lists all of those things, and that happens regardless of what's going on with this resolution.
Great, Thank you.
Are there any other questions? I just appreciate and reiterate what was shared, that this is a routine part of school district calendars every year. It is not anything that any of us enjoy doing, but it has certainly helped in moments like the one that Anne described, where at this point, there is nothing that we are aware of. So we are essentially granting this permission in the case that it becomes needed down the road. And of course, we will become informed if that comes to pass. So with that, and seeing no final questions, is there a motion to waive the reading of the resolution and approve it as written?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Ann Casey and a second by Ruthie Dallas. Any final discussion? As this is a resolution, okay, you thought I was going to miss it, didn't you? Yeah, no, I appreciate that. As this is a resolution, our clerk Shannon Andreessen will pull the board.
Thank you, Chair Brecky. Director Andreessen votes aye. Director Birdman,
Aye.
Director Bowman,
Aye.
Chair Brecky,
I will also answer to Director Brecky. Aye.
Director Casey.
Aye.
Director Dallas.
Aye.
Director Douglas is absent. Director Johansson,
Aye.
Director Coons,
Aye.
Director Marty,
Aye.
and Director Ross.
Aye.
Thank you. That is passes with a 10 vote.
Thank you. The resolution is approved. Thank you so much. So we move into the board business section of the agenda, where this evening we just have our regular items on the agenda. I do not have a specific chair report, so instead we'll just encourage you to make sure that you're keeping up with the calendars as included in the board packet for upcoming events. And we will move to once around the table, the opportunity for people to share information with one another. The one thing I will just share up front is I appreciate all of you for being here this afternoon and into this evening for our board work session, where we will able to have just some really important time together to talk about our race equity work, to talk about our board operations, and to go through the strategic planning process ourselves. It felt like important things for us to be spending our time on and to come together as a board to discuss. So I just appreciate that and appreciate all of the work that went into it, especially on the part of the staff. Is there anything else that people would like to share with one another? Yes, please.
The AMSD Connections newsletter for March has an article about St. Louis Park's talent development program. So I would encourage you all to check that out.
Wonderful. Thank you. Michael.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who came to the Capitol yesterday. I know in talking to different people, a lot of people were there. I certainly saw Chair Brecky and Superintendent Dowd, along with Edina. I know other schools were there too. It's being there was, again, another example of why it's so important that the voices in this room, as well as in our home districts and as well as in our communities, are heard about the decisions that are being made at the state legislature regarding funding. And my only hope is that common sense will prevail.
I just want to share and thank you, Krista, for sending the information out on financial planning and budgeting for board members. I think it's very good, and I wish there was some kind of way we can present it to the full group or have the group participate. Because I think it's a training that all of us need to review and refresh if you've been through it already. So I'll talk with you to, I have some ideas.
Thank you. And very appropriate coming from our treasurer.
Very enlightening.
Okay, and just to say one final thing about the AMSD Day at the Capitol yesterday, there was a little shiver of happiness because the day started at 8 a.m. With a very full room, hearing from chairs of the House Finance Committee and the Senate Finance Committee, and I heard the words intermediate district mentioned in that setting, and that made me happy. That, our superintendent spending time at the Capitol, as our previous superintendent did so much as well. The collective work of a lot of people, I think, is really being heard, and intermediates are being included in conversations in ways that feel really important. Anything else? Superintendent Dowd, any final words? Okay, so with that, we could entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Renee Bowman and a second by Heidi Marty. Any final discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye, and we are adjourned at 7:25 PM.
Wow.
Nice. You safe and trusted.
Yeah.
Well done.
I want to know more if it was, I thought it was maybe related to the Georgetown program that I emailed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because-
Were you talking about the Georgetown link though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.